Hello and welcome to a new video. In this video, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be talking about my first experience at a doubles tournament. So I'm going to start off the lists, then I'll go into generally how it was, and I'll talk a bit about the games, but it's mostly going to be how the experience was as a whole. So for my list, I was using Tyranids with the Synaptic Nexus detachment. I had a Death Leaper, a Walking Hive Tyrant with the Synaptic Control enhancement, which makes him take -1 damage. I had a Neuro Tyrant with the Power of the Hive Mind enhancement, which adds +1 AP and +1 Strength to his ranged weapon. I had a Byrivore, an Exocrine, a Neurolictor, one lot of 3 Raveners, and a group of 6 Zenithropes. My partner was playing Drakari with the Sky Splinter Assault detachment. She had an Archon with Nightmare Shroud, which means you can't be Overwatched the turn that you disembark from a transport. They had a Beastmaster, Lilith Hesprax, 1 unit of 10 Campbellite Warriors, 1 unit of 10 Witches, 2 Raiders, 1 lot of Mandrakes, and 2 lots of 5 Scourges, 1 with Haywire Blasters and 1 with Dark Lancers. So in the first game we went against Necrons and Adeptus Mechanicus with Terraform and I believe it was Swift Action as the mission rule. As a whole, like the whole combinations of how armies work, I found interesting because there were some things that worked between factions and some things that didn't. For example, whenever I battle shocked something, my partner still got pain tokens for it, but at the same time, my buff auras didn't affect hers. Same way that her buff auras didn't affect me and she couldn't use pain tokens on me and stuff like that. So it was quite interesting to see, oh, so this thing works but this thing doesn't. And it was nice to be able to have, let's see, 4 different armies on one board. The scorecard is going to come up in a minute. It did end up as a draw, but had it have went on any longer, we would have lost. By the end of it, we did not have many models left. Right, I am coming back to this video a different day recording audio, so sorry if it sounds a bit different from this point forwards, but hopefully the quality is a bit better, as I was really not feeling good the other day. But I hope we're all good now. So, game 2, we had the same army. We could not change it, so it was Tyranids, Harlequins, exact same list. We then went against Necrons again, but they were paired with Eldari this time. And the Eldari we're going against is the same person that I went against in my last league game. So he is a very good player, and he did have the Avatar of Cain again. So this mission was Purge the Foe, which is you get 4 points for holding 1 or more objectives. Get 4 more if you're holding more than your opponent. Then you get 4 points for killing an enemy unit that battle round, and another for at the end of the battle round if you killed more enemy units than allied units were destroyed. The mission rule was Smoke and Mirrors, which lets you put more units in reserve than normal. So along those lines, I didn't look too much into it because it wasn't something we wanted to do. This game was actually really fun. So the whole time it was just back and forth. We were taking handfuls off. Like, it was actually a really good game. In this game, we did manage to take down the Avatar of Cain, but it took so much firepower to do. By the end of it, he was charged by my Hive Tyrant, the Beast Pack, Lilith Hesprax and her full set of 10 witches, and before they had charged, I had shot it with the Exocrine, the Xenothropes, and all 6... the Neurotyrant and all 6 Xenothropes. I'm pretty sure it had been charged by something else as well, but I can't exactly remember what. But it just would not die. It took us so long to take down. But at the same time, it was right in front of us. We did not have the option to ignore it. Looking at the picture just before this, where my Exocrine is sat, to fade, you can probably see it in the next picture shown. But that is where the avatar got to in the end. So it was just right in our face and we could not get rid of it. In the end, we did kill it though. It just took us too long to recover from. Because the game did end 47-64. So we did lose, and that was at the end of turn 3. Had the game gone on any longer, we would have scored a few more points, but not enough for it to have made a difference. So yeah, that was game 2. Also, something that it's not really anything to do with the tournament, but there were 4 people there named Alex. One of them being my partner. Then in this game, on the other side of the table, both opponents were named Alex. And then there was another set of people named Alex and Alfie. If you didn't know, my name is Alfie. So there was two teams named Alfie and Alex, as well as another team called Alex and Alex. It was very confusing at times, but luckily we didn't go against the other Alfie and Alex, or that would have just been its own headache. As you can see now, like where my Exocrine is where the avatar ended up. Like I was mentioning earlier, that, yeah, it was way too close. Although, this game, my Byrivore managed to survive an attack from, I think it was like 18 Tyranid warriors that charged it. And he was one of my marked for death targets. But, yeah, it survived all 18 with like 2 wounds left. And then the next turn, he barely died, but it wasn't worth the command point for it, because he'd also charged in with his Lich Guard by that point. So there wasn't much I could do about it, really. Yeah, I don't have an awful lot to say about this game. It was good fun. Great opponents. Can't fault them at all. Just don't really have an awful lot to say about it. So, while the pictures are still going for this game then, I'm going to mention that soon I'm going to be going over a list that I've made for Tyranids using the Synaptic Nexus attachment. It's a 2,000 point list, and I'm playing my first like real competitive game with it today. So it's pretty much the same list that I took to the RTT a week ago, 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago sounds more like it. But yeah, I'm gonna be making a video, doing like an in-depth, talking about everything in the list, what I like about it, what I think I might change in it, and then I'm planning to use that list going forwards as my main competitive Tyranid list, as long as I can adapt it a little bit. So there's a few bits in it that I'm not entirely sure about keeping in it. I am also looking at bringing out my Harlequins again, because they are very fun to play, and I've got an army for them made in Tabletop Simulator that I'm going to be using to get in some more games, because it's a lot easier to do on there than having to arrange a game with people all the time, and you can get games done bit more consistently. So I'm going to get more experience with Harlequins as well. And I'm planning on making a series called Drakari Quinn. Or Drakali Quinn. I'm not really sure what I'm going to call it yet. But it's going to be as close as possible to half Harlequins, half Drakari. And that's going to be a push point for my channel, hopefully, using pure Harlequins that not a lot of people do anymore. And then if there are some weaknesses within Harlequins that Drakari can cover, I'm then going to go for that Drakari Quinn list. So I can do a good mixture of both and see where things go from there, basically. So scorecard is about to come up for the second game. And at this point, we had a draw, a loss. So I really wanted to get a win in the third game, just so we could get one of each result. So in the third game, we were against Chaos Demons and we were against Chaos Space Marines. The Demons list had... I know they had 2 lots of Screamers. They had a Great Unclean one and they had Be'lakor. I can't remember what else they had, but I'd imagine that was a majority of their points. And the Chaos Space Marine player had 1 lot of Havocs. I believe 2 lots of Chaos Space Marines, a Terminator Lord, and a couple of vehicles. I can't exactly remember what the vehicles were. I believe they were rhinos, but they didn't look like rhinos, so I can't remember exactly what they were. Anyway, this is showing the deployment. So it was a nice way to end. It was just take and hold, and it's either extra supplies or hidden supplies, one of the two. The one that gives you an extra objective in No Man's Land. So 1 in our home, 1 in our opponent's home, and then 4 in the centre. This game went very well, especially with my Neurotyrant and my Xenothrapes, because within 1 turn they managed to take down Be'lakor. Complete fluke, will never happen again, but I just rolled insanely well. So they all did my Xenothrapes all did their D3 shots, most of them giving me 3. I hit with all of them because I used a stratagem that gave me real fail to hit and wound rolls of 1. So I did that. After all of it was done, Be'lakor was left on like 2 wounds, to which my Exocrine managed to finish off. No, it wasn't my Exocrine thinking about it. It was... Oh, it was at the end of the turn. He took a Battleshock test and failed, so I used a stratagem to make so I could deal mortal wounds to him, and that was how I killed him. Yeah, it was... This was also one of the games where we were kind of taking stuff off in handfuls, but luckily we only took stuff off towards the end, so there was a massive points difference. Enough that we could still get secondaries done and hold primary, as there were so many objectives that we could set on. And in this game, Lone Operative meant a lot, as my opponent had Havocs sat on the back on the building, as you can see now. They were there the whole game. So my Neurolictor and my Death Leaper both have Lone Operative. So they were just stood in the open for a majority of it. And the only option was charge them. The Neurolictor I kept far enough away that he couldn't really do anything to. Like, wouldn't be able to make the charge that turn kind of thing. But the Death Leaper I thought would die, like, relatively quick. But he kind of just stood there. And every time something charged, he went, okay,
Dead. Oh, something else is charging me. Dead. Like, there was a lot of lucky rolling involved in this game. But Death Leaper did incredibly well. My Neuro Tyrant with the Zenith ropes did incredibly well. And it just all fell together this game. There was a lot to do with lucky dice rolls, but I feel like we did play the game well on top of that. Overwatch ended up doing like 8 damage to the Great Unclean One, and then he was kind of locked in battle with my Neuro Tyrant and Neuro Thropes for a majority of the game. My Hive Tyrant just giving them the free stratagems and buffing them up like, as much as I needed him to. As much as I needed him to, which just kept them alive. In the end, the Great Unclean One was still alive with 1 wound, and he was just sat in the corner for like 3 turns. I could not move him. But this is how the game ended. We did get maximum on points, and our opponents got 57. Overall, we came 6th out of 8 teams. But let me find it again. Can't remember where I wrote it down now. I believe, this is going off memory, but I believe I came 7th overall out of 16, which I'm quite happy with. I can't find where I put it now for exactly where, but here we are. Yeah, as you can see, this is it overall. So me and my partner are going to go to another doubles tournament, but that isn't till beginning of February. And what we're going to do for that one is I'm going to play my Harlequins. My opponent is going to play her Jakari, and that is kind of going to be the push point for my Jakari Quinn list I was talking about earlier. So there will be more doubles. I may cover it a bit clearer than I did in this, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this video. I'm not well versed enough in doubles games to do an in-depth battle report. So this is what I decided to go with instead. And yeah, it was a really enjoyable event. Well ran. It was all right, that's done. If you don't mind, could you set up the table for the next people kind of thing. It was all a well respected event. And then the one that I'm going to in beginning of February is the one where my last 2 RTTs have been. So my one with the World Eaters and my one with the Tyranids. I'll be going there again for the next doubles tournament. Also, I wanted to say a quick thank you for all the support recently on my Instagram. YouTube's not seeing it as much, but my Instagram is really taking off for some reason, which I'm very grateful for. So if you don't mind leaving YouTube courtesies and pleasantries and everything here, being likes, subscriptions, if you could share the video, that would be even better. But yeah, my social pages in general are really starting to take off, which I am very grateful for. So if you can make these numbers go up as well, that would be even better and would release a lot of happy drugs. I am planning on trying to host an apocalypse event at some point. So the plan is we will get as many people as possible. If you're in the UK area, if you're in England, specifically the Buckinghamshire area, then let me know if you're interested. I'm planning on getting as many people as possible, splitting the teams as evenly as possible, getting people with like 2,000 points for their army. We'll just throw it all and have a massive game. So if you are interested, please let me know. thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about doing the videos like this in the future, and I will see you next time.